What's going on, YouTubers? Welcome to another video. So today I wanted to talk about my top worst financial decisions and in general in collecting that not just me, but I think a lot of collectors make, but I've definitely made a ton. In general, collecting is a horrible financial decision. Let's be honest. These are just, painted rock we're paying tens of thousands of dollars for. But I've definitely made a lot of fatal errors in my collecting journey that I think could help you guys avoid these errors. So I'm going to go through some of those. First off, I sold the Fugitive Predator wrist blade, and I decided to throw all the heads there instead. They were just in the hallway. Now we got them there. I didn't need that wrist blade. I probably would eventually sell that if I could get my money back. I sold the wrist blade because I got it, my money back. I didn't lose any money. I do the same for that. I do like that one, and I think that one is a little more unique and probably fits a little bit better, but it's not crucial I sell that one. But I was planning on getting rid of the, wrist blade. So let's get to it. So the first thing that comes to mind is shelving. So when I originally got to shelving, the big thing back then was Detolf's, Stuvas, Bestas from IKEA. That was, the big thing. I didn't see a lot of people doing garage shelves. It was literally, those frickin' Detolfs and Bestas. And I was buying Bestas for like $80 a pop. And Detolfs for like $69. And PAX units. And they were super heavy, a pain to go buy, a pain to set up. Oh my gosh, I bought so many of those. I wasted thousands and thousands of dollars. If you guys remember this room, I had a 39-inch wide PAX there. I had a PAX in the closet. Stuvas throughout. Over here, I had about 20 Detolfs. And the resale value for these type of shelves, at least where I'm at, is absolutely horrible. I can sell a Detolf for maybe $10 to $20. And a PAX, or like a PAX unit, I mean, the way those are set up, you have to break it kind of just to disassemble because it's nailed in. But I could sell that for $10. Bestas and Stuvas, $5 to $10. So as you see, I'm losing $75 per each one, or $70. So I lost thousands and thousands of dollars buying the wrong shelving unit. So that was definitely just like, if I could go back, I never would have bought those Bestas and Stuvas. It's all part of the collecting journey, I guess. But I definitely wasted a ton of money on shelving. Now I've stuck to garage shelving, which, this, like that and that cost like, what does that cost me? $70. It's the price of just like one Stuva. And a Stuva would be like from here to there. I'd have to buy like 5 Stuvas to fit this entire display. But instead I got one garage shelf. It's much more cost effective. It holds more weight. It's more open. It's more adjustable. There's very little adjustability. I mean, you can adjust like the height of the shelves, but that's kind of, you can't really like add to it and stuff like that. So garage shelving is definitely much more versatile, and I prefer it. And I definitely wish I would have just bought that from the get-go, instead of doing all the IKEA stuff. So that's the first thing. The second thing, and it's kind of hard to say with this one, but there's no doubt I bought statues over the years I didn't 100% love. They definitely were not like up to par detail-wise, but I bought them because I didn't think there would be another, version of that character. I didn't know if we'd get more statues. For example, the Sideshow Lord of the Rings line. I still have a few statues from this line, but the majority of the statues from that line were honestly terrible. Like the Frodo. Oh my God, the Gandalf was bad, especially Gandalf the White. Galadriel. I don't know why I bought her. That was one of the ugliest statues I ever bought. Horrible. But I bought it because I wanted to complete the line. So being a line completist definitely wastes money, especially when you're buying statues you don't actually like. Secondly, is just buying statues that are already outdated just to get this character, thinking they're not going to be a future better version. But lo and behold, Prime One delivered the ultimate quarter scale Lord of the Rings line. Now I've kept a few sideshows because not all of the sideshows were horrible. I do like the orcs. I like that Saruman, and Prime One still hasn't given us a Saruman. But I wasted money because I bought those Lord of the Rings statues, and then the resale value was not that good, and I lost money on the majority of them. I'd buy them for, let's say, $400-$500. I could only sell them for $200, so I lost money. I should have just not bought them and waited for something better to come along. Back then, though, Prime 1, like when I originally bought those Lord of the Rings, the majority, Prime 1 was not even around yet, believe it or not. They came like 1 or 2 years later. So that one's a little forgivable, but there's definitely, like Marvel comic statues I bought. I wanted a Hawkeye, so I bought the XM Hawkeye. I don't know why I bought that. I didn't even like that statue. And I don't know why I was buying comic versions, when I don't have a connection to comic. So just buying statues in general you don't have a connection with just because you want that character. I think, I definitely made a lot of bad financial decisions in the buying, which statues. And here's probably the biggest thing that I think is a huge financial, just like reckoning to any collector, is changing lines. I just spoke to a collector now. He's selling 53 statues, mostly anime. And he said he's making a huge collection direction change. And I'm like, dude, you did the wrong timing to do that, bud. Because right now, statues are not selling very good. So he's going to have a hard time and he's going to lose a lot of money. It's very difficult to sell statues right now. Some statues are easy to sell. Others, not so much. And so him deciding that he wants to change statue lines, for me, whenever I've changed statue lines, often I would have to change my shelving. So that's a financial thing. 2, posters. I'm the type of collector that likes to display posters with my statues. And posters are not necessarily, they're cheap, but they're not like, they add up. That's the thing. Like this may cost me $15 to $20 to buy that Last of Us poster. And when I buy one for each of my setups, they add up, so end up being a few $100s. And then all of a sudden I decide, you know what? I don't want to collect video game statues anymore. I can't really sell these posters. You can try, but the resale value and whatnot, it's just not that good. You're definitely going to be losing quite a bit of money. So I've definitely wasted a ton of money on posters from switching lines and changing up my display. Probably well over $1,000 on posters wasted. And so switching lines, you got posters, you got shelving that you potentially may need to change to accommodate the different statues. Especially if you're, let's say, using D-Tolfs to display 1/6 scale, then all of a sudden you want 3rd scale, and you're like, oh, well, this won't work. So now you have to change your shelving unit. So changing lines, you have that. And then obviously the reselling of the statues. If the economy was better and you could sell statues for what you paid, it's not as big a deal to change lines. It really isn't. Fortunately for me, I have, changed the majority of my lines while this, it was still pretty good resale value. If we think about it, I sold all my DBZ for good cost. Like, I got all the money I wanted to. I didn't lose any money on Dragon Ball Z. I gained money, in fact. When I sold all my Marvel comics, I was able to get all my money back. I did not lose money. On a few of them, I think I may have lost 100 or 200, but others I gained money, so it evened out. DC 1/4, that was definitely a harder one. I think I lost a little bit of money. And then I always had those like random stuff, like King Kong and all these random statues I would buy. Goodness gracious. But yeah, but Still, anytime you change a line, it's a huge financial decision and it can affect you greatly. If the statues you're selling have really good resale value and you're going to make a lot of money, then sure, it makes sense. But right now, for the most part, like let's say I decided to sell this entire marble wall, I could probably only get my money back on the Tom Holland bust, probably Black Panther and Vision, maybe Captain Marvel, Tony Stark bust, maybe Pepper Potts. I'd lose money on Loki, Thor, Thanos, Captain, Hulk, Iron Man. So I'd lose money on more than half of them. And I'd probably lose big. Like, let's say, Captain America, I paid $4,500 for it. I could probably sell it for $3,500 shipped, and then shipping would be $500. So I would lose thousands of dollars. Now, I never plan to sell that because it's one of my favorite. But, as you can see, I'd lose money. With others, I'd probably just sell and get my money back. So overall, I'd be losing money right now. Should I ever decide, what, I don't want Marvel statues anymore. Not going to happen, but just saying, whenever you change lines, it's going to be a huge financial, most likely negative impact on you. You're going to lose money on the statues. You're going to lose money on the shelving. You're going to lose money on the posters. You're going to lose a lot of money. Plus, if you bought little props like me, you could potentially lose money on the props. So it's definitely, going to hurt you financially. Now, upgrading statues. This is something I've been doing since I've started collecting. You buy a statue, you love it, but then all of a sudden a different statue comes out of that same character, maybe a different pose, or just better overall sculpt and paint and detail, so you want to upgrade to the new one. And for the most part, anytime a newer, better version of that character statue comes out, it devalues the older one and it's going to lose resale value. So it's going to hurt you, So that's why you should try to buy the upgraded already version, if you know what I mean. It's hard to say, because back then I just wasn't aware of, what could be, but now, you got like this J&D Wonder Woman. It's like the likelihood of us getting another Wonder Woman that could top this is so unlikely. The detail is absolute on that thing. Same with the Gal Gadot bust by Infinity Studios. Like that likeness is seriously uncannily good. So like those are like the definite versions. But other statues, they're definitely like, you can tell there's going to be a better version in the future. Others, not so much. But right now, for me, I'm not going to buy any statues that I think look outdated already. Those statues where like you look at it and it's gone up for pre-order like right now and you already know it looks outdated. Those are the statues you got to avoid. If it already looks outdated and you're like, oh my gosh. You got to buy the stuff where you get it and you're like, that is it. That's the ultimate version of that character. The definite statue of that character. And I know I say way too many times. Sometimes you don't realize when you're talking, you say something a lot, but then you watch a video of yourself and you're like, holy crap, I said that way too many times. Jupiter. So, here's the thing with statues. If you want to make the right financial decision, don't be a collector. Collecting is horrible financially for you. If I could go back to Flankster from 10 years ago, I would immediately slap myself in the face for looking at that PCS Goro quarter scale and say, do not buy statues ever. Never look at this again. It's a horrible decision. I would 100% do that. There I go again saying that. I would definitely never collect. If it's a joy I wish I never knew. But here we are. I'm a collector. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm in, but I think I do have a very good path forward in finishing the collection. And for the most part, I would say like 98% of my collection are the definite versions. I just don't see a better version coming out. I know people will say, well, you don't have the Prime 1 Predator anymore. Well, that was overscaled. I prefer the Pose on the Cinema Cat. Scales better. And it still is absolutely freaking phenomenal. All my horror are the definite. Like, we're not going to see a better Ghostface third scale if we ever see another Ghostface. We might see another Myers, Leatherface, that version. Doubt it. PCS, they did a quarter scale Army of Darkness. I doubt they'll do Evil Dead now. Freddy, Jason, these are never being topped ever. So, yeah, but if you have the willpower, and if you just caught this video and you're not a collector, I advise you immediately to run. Do not collect statues. It's a horrible financial decision. It used to be much better. Back when I first got in collecting, one could almost call this an investment. At that time, you'd be like, okay, I buy, a PCS statue for $350. I could sell it for $800 at release. Back then, that's how it was. It was actually like really good. Where now you buy a statue, it's almost like a car. The moment that thing's delivered, or the moment you even put a deposit down, you've lost money, folks. That is how I view collecting now. You will be able to get some of the money back, but it's like a car. You almost lose, 30, 40, 50% of the value the moment you buy that thing. So you have to kind of go in with that mindset now. Make very conscious decisions on what you're going to buy, since money is not as easy to come by nowadays as it used to be. Especially with inflation. And we got a president election here in a few weeks, which could greatly affect the economy. So it's all hope for the best. Flankster has voted for Trump, and so that is, who I want to win this election. I feel he is our best candidate to win. I was making double the money when he was in office, and I hope he gets in office, I can make double the money again. Made the most money in my life under Trump. Anyways, folks, let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any additional, suggestions or whatnot, or just bad financial decisions you may have made that you could help others out, let me know in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day.